Hi everyone, Holly with Couture Designs here. Today we're going to do stretchy bracelets. I've been working on some autumn color stretchy bracelets. This one is red jasper, and these are silver leaf agate, these larger stones. And this is a size 8 that I've worked on, and they're stretchy. And then this one is a size 7. Same thing, silver leaf, but the difference is I'm using 4mm garnet on this one. And this is, again, the size 7. And they're both going to be available later today on the Couture Designs group page. So to get started with our stretchy bracelet, you're going to need whatever beads of choice you have. I happen to be using these silver leaf agate and some metal and contrasting metal beads I'm going to be using today. For this particular bracelet. This silver leaf came from Bee Gallery. I got mine from an estate sale from a woman who was going out of business. So I'm not sure if they still have these available or not, these colors, but you could go online and look, or go into a Michaels store, whichever you want to use. It doesn't really matter. It's the process we're learning to do. You're going to need stretch cord. I like Stretch Magic, and the 1mm size for the large beads. And I like the Stretch Magic because it holds its shape, and it doesn't pop when I use it. It's pretty durable, and but you could use whatever you like. And then you need a pair of scissors or a pair of nippers, whatever you choose to use. So when you first cut your Stretch Magic or your stretch cord, you need to pre-stretch before, and just kind of pull on it before you use it. You need to pre-stretch it. And this one I've done already, but I'm just going to kind of show you how you just kind of pull it out, go back and forth. And I would do that several times. I've already done this one multiple times. And then cut the length that you want your bracelet to hang. If you like your bracelets hanging very loose, cut it longer. If you like it tighter and more snug, cut it shorter, that kind of thing. I like to cut a little bit extra because, one, when you go to tie off, it's going to be harder to tie off if it's too short, and you can always you make your length based on the number of beads you use. And so as you get more proficient in doing this, you will use less cord. But when you begin, you're going to use more cord anyways. And just like with your hair, you can always take more off, but you can't put it back on. So I like to tuck my cords into the hole of a bead if I have a large enough bead. I like to tuck them in there, and rather than gluing them or leaving them showing. I don't like my cord showing, my knots showing at all. I like a nice smooth bracelet. So I'm looking for a bead that has a large enough hole, and it's going to be on my focal beads on these smaller ones. I could use these larger ones if these holes were too small, and I would, except for they'll slide out of it, and you have to slide it back in or glue it. And I don't like gluing because the glue eats through the rubber and then it will snap. So I like to try to get it tucked into there. If it's all nice and snug, it's not going to move. So I'm looking for ones that have the largest hole. That's going to be the easiest for me to get them in, and I think this one's going to be the winner here. So this will be my last bead that I put on, and I'll face it this way so that when I tie it off, I can slide it into that hole. Okay, so get your beads together, and what I like to do before I start is I kind of get into my mind what I'm going to do. With these, it was a little bit easier because it's just 3 beads in between each one, but I had to do some thinking about how I wanted to lay it out so that it would, it would look pretty, and that it would hold its shape. And so with this one, I decided to do something different, and I'm using metal accent beads because I only have 5 to work with, 5 of these beads to work with, because I have only 6 left, and I need to use those in a different pattern for a different bracelet. So I'm starting off a pattern. It doesn't matter what you want to put on there, whatever you want to do. You can use crystals, although I warn you, if you use bicone crystals, your line is likely to snap because that crystal rubs on this and it eventually cuts through it like a knife. So, and then we just put our bead in here. So we're just stringing your beads. And for those of you with dexterity issues like me, this is actually a very good physical therapy. One of my physical therapists had me putting small little bead-like things, or even trying to pick up money and put it into individual boxes for my physical therapy. It was boring, and physical therapy was expensive, so this is just like that, only it's not boring and it's not as expensive. So so you can see these holes, it's just stringing along very nicely. A little hint for you, one of the things that I do to get my beads, because I'm limited on my income, and I don't need to do it anymore for a long time, because I got very, very fortunate and came across some very good estate sales and going out of business sales from individuals. But I would look on Craigslist, and I would, for what's fair, and I wouldn't buy something that's, totally way out of whack, overpriced, because, someone says they've got, $10,000 worth of beads for, $200. Well, what kind of beads are they? So you have to do your research, but you can come across some really good deals, because there's people out there that buy up a whole bunch of stuff and then never use it, and then they just want to get rid of it. Okay, so I'm on my last bead now. I've got this down to the last bead, and as I said, I want to use the larger hole. It's kind of hard to tell the difference, but this is the larger hole. So I'm going to go through the smaller hole here on my last bead, and this is going to be a size 8, so this is bigger than I normally wear, but I like the pattern, so it's not, most of my jewelry is not for me anyway, so this is where it's going to come out. So when we go to close these off our bracelets, for me, I always use a really long line so that I can just keep using it, but however you like. I would leave enough to where you can actually work with it till you get used to doing this. So on the smaller beads, you have to watch when you're tying knots. These like to slip over and your knot ends up in the wrong spot, so just be careful. The larger beads, it's easier not to do that because they're so heavy it pulls, and you can just use the weight of it to pull on it. So as you can watch what I'm doing, just like a shoelace. I did not pull very, very tight. I just pulled enough just to where it's closed. We don't pull tight yet. If you pull tight now, you're going to pop your strand, and then it hurts. I learned the hard way. So and I'm going to do a double knot, and I don't know, I'm not a knot person, so if I'm saying the wrong kind of knot, forgive me, but I'm not a knot person. I don't know, it's a double knot to me. So right now I'm going to grab both my ends that I just closed off, but I'm going to grab the string itself on both ends, on both sides, right here and right here. You can see how I'm doing that. See? And I'm going to pull that super tight. Now, a good string won't pop. A healthy string, and if it's kind of yellowing, it's not very healthy. If it's powdery and cloudy, it's not very healthy string. So, but you can see how I have this is too much. See? This is the weight of it. If I left it like this, you'd end up with not a very good stretch bracelet. But this is where you're going to pull tight it. See? See how it slipped in there? This is why we've only done the double knot so far. And then I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to pull that super tight. So I'm holding the end so I don't stretch it too much. But I want to make that knot nice and tight. And then I'm going to pull again. And I'm going to grab it again and pull it super tight. And then you can see it pull. You can see, and you can feel it too. It's the thing that you can feel it and you can see it. And then I'm going to grab both ends and pull on that. And the reason I'm doing it, that's my original knot, my base knot. And if I left it like this, it'll eventually slip off and break and come apart. So this is the final closing knot. You can use 2 or 3 depending upon the size of the hole. And I'll show you. So this is my 3rd knot. I'm going to pull on that and do the same thing. Pull both my strings. I want that knot secure. And so we end up with this. Now, some people will take these ends and glue them down here where the knot is and cut it really close to where the knot is and let it dry and call it good. And then you see the knot and it looks tacky to me. So I like to hide my knots, and I don't like using glue, as I said, because the glue eats through, and I don't care what glue you use, it eats through rubber. The component in the glue that makes it stick, it's acidic to the rubber, and it eats right through it eventually. So I'm going to pop this into here, into this hole. You can see, there we go. Hopefully this will work like it's supposed to. So I don't want to pull it all the way down in the hole. I want to get it just started into the hole. And sometimes the knot will start coming apart because even though I did the 3rd knot, it's rubber, so it'll slip. And so I have to go back through and tighten it up again, then try to get it to the hole. And so if my hole is too small for the knot, and it just won't go in, I have to use an alternative method, and I'll either hide it in one of these other beads, or I'll use a crimp cover and try to do that. So I try not to make things that I can't hide that bead in. So now I'm going to cut it off, but I'm not going to cut it flush. I'm just going to just a little bit above it so that I can hide the rest of it, because I don't know how far down that knot actually is into this bead, and it could be right here, and if I cut it flush, it's going to come apart. So I'm going to pull this in there, and you don't want to pull so hard because I don't want it coming out the back, but I don't think that's going to happen on this one. There we go. See, and it just went down into the hole, and it's gone, and it's hidden, and I have a beautiful bracelet. This actually, yeah, it's an 8, and it hangs very pretty, and it came out very nice. And you can see, what's kind of just try to get this to lay, because of the shape of the beads, it doesn't lay as like it's going to on your arm. You see how pretty that came out, and we're done. And it's very simple. It's not really hard at all. It just takes practice and getting used to it. And if you're going to start off, I'd start off with the larger beads until you get to the smaller ones. And so I have this one, and I have this one with the jasper, and this one with the garnet. And all of these are going to be for sale on Kateri Designs group page. And thank you for watching, and have a blessed day. And don't forget to like us on the Kateri Designs page and the Kateri Designs group page. And you'll be entered to win once we get to 150 likes. We're going to do a drawing for the African turquoise jewelry set, and it's valued at $85. It's very pretty. If you go on to the Kateri Designs group page, you'll be able to see it. Y'all have a blessed day.